When it comes to whitetails, the broken prairies and timbered bottomlands of southwest Kansas are truly somewhere over the rainbow. That's what brought David Morris to the late rifle season at Tall Tine Outfitters, operated by world-class bow hunter Ted Jaycox.
My name is Ted Jaycox, and I operate Tall Tine Outfitters here in southwest Kansas.
Ted's got 18,000 acres here in southwest Kansas. It's in various tracts all over the place.
We've been operating a trophy-managed whitetail operation here for about 12 years.
You have creek bottoms, you have wide open prairies with these big canyons through it, but everything here is linked to agriculture.
A lot of wheat, a lot of alfalfa, a few soybeans.
You got corn, you got milo.
Perfect habitat for growing monster whitetails.
It takes a hidden treasure map to find this Kansas hotspot. To maintain trophy quality, pressure must be kept low. So the remote location's a well-kept secret, the way Morris likes it.
We're hunting the late rifle season. Our hunt starts on December the 5th, and as you can see here, it is cold. It is cold. These bucks need to recover from the rigors of the rut. So our primary strategy here is going to be to hunt food sources. Here we go. Down there and check that. What I've done is I've changed from one bullet to another. I went from the Winchester XP3s to the Winchester AccuBonds, so I need to adjust to this new bullet. Shooting AccuBonds here. Fire one more time, I think it's gonna be good. You ready? I moved it 1.5 inches right, so I'm good. If you can find a hot food source during this post-rut time, that's where you're likely to find a big buck. We got here that first afternoon and Ted said, heck, you're here, season's in, let's go hunting.
Scattered over the 18,000 acres, we have about 70 different locations. We've had reconics photos of deer in one place in September and actually harvested that animal in December, and he could be 4 miles away. So having a variety of locations really aids the hunter in their ability to harvest these great animals.
Ted put us in this incredible creek bottom, a great setup, and he had a ladder stand 22 feet tall. Unfortunately, the wind was blowing about 40 miles an hour.
Lordy, that temperature's dropping.
I think the temperature was about 22. I was up there 30 minutes. I said, I can't do this.
It is cold as a well digger for you.
And so I said, we got to get down and set up a ground blind. We did, we got down. I used some plum bushes that we broke off, and I used a lot of limbs. A leopard hunter in Africa would have been proud of this.
This is not a bad setup. We can shoot anything that comes out there, anything that comes in from across here, and anything that comes across this opening. Not as good as being up the tree, but still not bad.
It was a good ground blind. The deer couldn't see us. All it was showing was our chest up.
That is one naive deer. If that had been a southern deer, he would have blown out of here. There's so little hunting pressure here in western Kansas. He didn't know what to do with it. The wind's blowing so hard it was dissipating our scent, but he smelled us. He was only 15 yards downwind of us. These deer, they're just not used to hunting pressure.
My cameraman Matthew Carmen and I, we were exactly where I wanted to be.
We're in a place, Matt, where anything could walk in here. You see that one coming in from the back? He's pretty nice. That's about a 148. There's 2 more bucks down there, they're not big. Fortunately, those are young bucks. There's nothing here that seems close to a shedder, but this buck coming in is the best buck out there.
Did we have a treat that afternoon? I mean, we saw 12 to 15 pretty good bucks. They were really hungry. They were staging, getting ready to go out in that wheat field because the chill factor was so low. Those deer were cold.
This cold weather's got them really crazy. There ain't no telling what the chill factor was in that tree.
We were in the perfect spot, but we didn't see the buck we came for. We're hunting with Tall Tine Outfitters, about 20,000 acres. There are monsters here. We just got to find the right one. I'm getting in the truck.
A frozen prairie wind tore the bark off David Morris on day one. That first go-round at Tall Tine Outfitters showed him plenty of bucks that would have been shooters anywhere else. But now he's headed out again to his ground blind, looking for a true Kansas giant.
What we've done here, we built a ground blind right here, and it gives us good visibility of this whole creek bottom. There's some sort of green stuff out there they're picking on. Then they stage here and go out in this wheat field in the afternoons. About 15 degrees this morning. It is cold here in Kansas, I'll tell you.
The next morning we woke up, we went back into our creek bottom, set up, and once again had a phenomenal morning.
That's that 9-border we had in here yesterday. It's real pretty, 3-year-old. Did you say there's another one behind him? There's 2 of them back there. It's gonna be a good buck in 2 more years. He may never be a 10, though. He's a 9.
We saw a couple of bucks that I had to think about.
He's got good tine legs, good brows, good frame. Good looking deer, he's just not old. This buck's watching us, be careful. I like having those bucks because they distract those does.
I'd much rather a buck be looking at us than a doe. They were good bucks, but they weren't what I came to Kansas to shoot.
One horn. We didn't see him yesterday.
So we held off, and I'm gonna tell you the chill factor that morning, I don't know. I mean, we just couldn't stay out there past about 10 o'clock. That afternoon, we eased back in, slipped around a little bit, saw plenty of bucks. Matt and I went back to the creek bottom because we knew there were bucks there. We knew there were some good bucks there. I figured sooner or later, all you had to do is wait and the train will come through. And for the first time, I saw a buck that I had to make a hard decision on. That's a 5.5-year-old, 145.8, a very good looking deer. How stiff he is. That's typical of these old bucks during the post rut. That's from sprained ankles. They walk stiff like that. Traveling, pushing, fighting. He's a good deer. It's just not what we're looking for. And we saw a lot of deer. Saw some beautiful deer.
That's a nice buck. He's a 10-pointer, a 3.5-year-old. He's right at 140, but he's going to be a good buck when he gets a little older. A couple more years. Again, a great day, but we did not see a deer we wanted. So we went into the second full day with high anticipation.
In the icy December rifle season, host David Morris and cameraman Matt Carmen have been covered up by great Kansas bucks, some that were definite maybes, but they still hope to see a genuine shooter from their ground blind.
We went back to the creek bottom. We really like hunting that area in the morning because you get in behind those deer coming off those ag fields on the hope that new bucks have coming in.
That's an old buck. He's at least 5.5, but probably 6. He's quite old, but he's just not a good buck. We've seen him 2 or 3 times here before.
We got back in there and we began to see the same deer over and over. We'd see a couple of new deer each time, but I'm only here for 5 days. You got to make it happen in a short window. And so we began to think, well, maybe we ought to check another area. The problem that we have is in the post-rut, these bucks don't travel long distances. So I'm afraid we may be seeing the same resident bucks over and over and may not be new ones here. Ted had told us about this 1,200-acre tract that he had about 20 miles from here.
We've been seeing quite a few animals on a couple different places. One of those was a deep canyon. It was about a 1,200-acre block, had a lot of draws and a lot of cover that held big animals.
You're talking about a classic place for spot and stalk hunting. It had all these fingers that filtered out all through the prairies there. And the strategy is to get on top and just ease up to each of these fingers. He's not old, but he's mature. He's at least 40. I could bust him. He's 280. He's just not big enough. Looking down in there, hoping to catch a deer bedded down if possible. If not, jump one. And when that happens, you better be ready to make a running shot. Oh yeah, he's pretty nice. That's a shame. That right front leg's broken. We came up on this great mule deer, but he had a broken right front leg. His right front leg swinging free. We came back and that night called the game warden because you don't want him to suffer. Unfortunately, they couldn't find him. Hated to see that happen to such a great animal. We began working the ledges, working the lips of these canyons, these fingers just going around and around. This doe came out of the draw about 100 yards from us, and behind her came a shooter buck. He was this big brute of a buck, but he had broken off his right main beam. He's a 10 with a stick on his left G2. Boy, he was heavy. Darn it. Absolutely a shooter, well in the 160s, but he was busted up. So we continued on our hunt, and we don't see anything for 45 minutes to an hour, no deer at all. Then I look up ahead and there's a big draw coming off the canyon, and it runs up toward a vast area of wheat. And I thought to myself, boy, if there's gonna be deer here, he's gonna be in this big draw up here. I don't know why, but I just felt there is going to be a deer in this draw. It's too perfect. Here's your ag fields. This is the big draw that comes off this canyon. I said, Matt, we need to be ready because this is likely to be a fast thing. He could easily be in this big ditch right here, this big canyon draw. All of a sudden, right there below us, this big buck just boils out of this ditch. There he is, right there, right there, right there. We're down to seconds before this thing disappears. You on him, Matt? You on him? Got him. Take him. Hit him hard, hit him hard, hit him hard. I hit him in the rear end, hit him hard. Gave me another shot. I shot again. Then he went around the bend, but I could see he was about to go down. This is spot and stalk on steroids. It is unbelievable. Incredible experience. Can't wait to go see that thing. So our strategy was to slip way around and then try to catch this deer unaware if he wasn't dead yet. If he was laying down, he was going to be watching his back trail. So we made our move. We went quite a distance around, a half a mile around, and then I looked up at about 125 yards. I saw him lying on the side of a hill, and he was doing exactly what we anticipated he would be doing. He was watching his back trail. As we sat there looking at it, I was trying to decide, do we move closer or do I try to take the shot? This deer's head just fell over. What a hunt it is in southwestern Kansas. This is a good buck. Looks like a big 8 to me, a big heavy 8. Can't wait to go see him. What a hunt. A giant 8-point whitetail here in southwestern Kansas was ours. Look at this. Now you're talking about saving a pull. I tell you what, I like this deer. Look at the mass on this thing. Look at the head. This is an old buck. This deer's probably 6 or 7 years old. Just a great, great Kansas buck. This is a monster 8-pointer. I love the mass on him. Look at that. I mean, he has got the mass. Look at that. Whew, it does not get any better than this. Great buck. This was a great buck, one I'm proud of, a beautiful heavy old 8. This beats the heck out of dragging that thing out of this canyon, I can tell you. Thank you, Ted Jaycox, for a great hunt, Tall Tine Outfitters here in southwestern Kansas. Oh, we got it. We got it.